The text message from Reagan felt like a slap across the face. Hope you're ready for family dinner tonight. Can't wait to hear all about your career transition. I'm Kimberly, and until last week, I was leading innovation at Tech Vision Solutions. Now, I'm that person who got laid off during the tech industry's latest strategic restructuring. But it's not the layoff that burns. It's my sister's barely concealed glee about it. You look comfortable, Reagan said as I walked into our parents' house that evening, her eyes scanning my casual blazer and jeans. She adjusted her designer suit jacket, a not so subtle reminder that she still had somewhere important to be tomorrow morning. Thanks, I am, I replied, forcing a smile. Being comfortable is underrated. Mom bustled in from the kitchen, saving me from more of Reagan's backhanded comments. Girls, perfect timing. Reagan was just telling us about her big promotion. Of course she was. Reagan's entire personality revolves around her rising career at Wilcox Technologies. She's been gunning for senior product director since she started there 3 years ago. It's not official yet, Reagan said, feigning modesty while practically glowing. But Stephen, Mr. Wilcox, basically confirmed it during our one-on-one yesterday. That's wonderful, honey, Dad called from his spot at the dining table. Kimberly, come sit. Tell us what you've been up to. Reagan smirked. Yes, Kim, do tell. I gripped my wine glass tighter. Actually, I've been working on some interesting projects. You mean job applications? Reagan interrupted, spooning salad onto her plate. Reagan, Mom scolded, but without much force. She'd always struggled to referee our competitions. What? I'm just concerned about my little sister. The tech industry can be brutal when you're unexpectedly available. I stabbed a cherry tomato with my fork. I appreciate your concern, but I'm fine. Sometimes setbacks are opportunities in disguise. Oh, absolutely. Reagan nodded, her voice dripping with false sympathy. Like that time in high school when you didn't make the debate team, so you joined the robotics club instead. How character building. The robotics club that won state championships, I reminded her. While the debate team placed, what was it, fourth? Reagan's smile tightened. Ancient history. What matters is where we are now. Speaking of which, did you hear Wilcox is expanding their innovation division? They're always looking for fresh talent. She paused. Entry-level positions, of course. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Saw your work on the neural interface project at Tech Vision. Very impressive. Interested in discussing opportunities? Discretion required. Everything okay? Reagan asked, noticing my expression change. I tucked my phone away, suddenly feeling lighter. Perfect, actually. You know what they say about karma, right? What's that supposed to mean? Nothing yet, but you might want to hold off on celebrating that promotion. Mom jumped in, desperate to change the subject. Who wants dessert? I made your favorite chocolate cake, Reagan. Of course you did, I muttered. The rest of dinner passed in a blur of Reagan's humble brags and barely veiled insults, but I barely heard them. My mind was racing with possibilities from that mysterious text. As I helped Mom clean up, Reagan cornered me by the sink. Listen, Kim, I know things are rough right now. If you need help with your resume, you know what's interesting about success, Reagan? I interrupted, keeping my voice low. It's not always permanent. Neither is failure. She laughed, but I caught the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Is that a threat? Just an observation. Karma has a way of balancing things out. Well, while you're waiting for karma, I'll be in my corner office at Wilcox. Don't worry, I'll send you a picture. As I drove home that night, Reagan's smug face kept flashing in my mind. She'd always been like this, taking pleasure in my setbacks, positioning herself as the superior sister. But this time was different. This time, I had something she didn't know about. My phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number. Meeting tomorrow? Your innovation could be exactly what we're looking for. I smiled, thinking about Reagan's certainty in her upcoming promotion. She had no idea what was coming. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even, it's about rising so far above them they can't help but look up. I typed back, I'm interested, name the time and place. The response came immediately. Perfect, one more thing. How do you feel about corporate acquisitions? You're telling me you've developed a way to control smart devices using neural signals? Valerie leaned forward in her ergonomic office chair, her eyes sharp despite her retirement from the tech world. Show me. I pulled out my laptop and launched the prototype interface. The small sensor patch on my temple felt barely noticeable now, after weeks of testing. Watch this. Without moving a muscle, I turned on her office lights, adjusted the thermostat, and opened her blinds. Valerie's mouth dropped open slightly. The current systems require obvious head movements or voice commands, I explained. Mine reads subtle neural patterns. Think it, and it happens. Holy shit, Kim. Valerie stood up and paced her home office. This is exactly what the industry's been trying to crack. How did you keep it under wraps at Tech Vision? I finished her thought. I developed it mostly after hours. The company was too focused on their existing product line to notice. My phone buzzed. Another text from Reagan. Just had lunch with Steven. Big things happening soon. That's your sister? Valerie asked, noting my expression. The one at Wilcox? Yeah, she doesn't know about this yet. Nobody does, except you and... The doorbell rang, interrupting me. Ella burst in, her marketing brain already firing on all cylinders. Kim, I've been doing research. You won't believe what I found about Wilcox's latest patent applications. Ladies, Valerie raised her hand. Before we go further, we need to discuss protection. Kim, have you filed any patents? Provisional applications, yes. All the core technology is documented. Ella dropped her bag on the floor. Good, because Wilcox is desperately searching for exactly this kind of innovation. They've got 3 failed attempts at neural interfaces in development. How do you know that? I asked. I have my sources, Ella winked. Plus, their job postings are pretty telling. They're hiring neural interface engineers like crazy. Valerie nodded slowly. This could be interesting timing, especially with their innovation showcase coming up. Their what? I sat up straighter. Annual Technology Showcase, Ella jumped in, coincides with their internal promotion announcements. Reagan's been bragging about it nonstop on LinkedIn. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Thomas. Got those components you needed. When can I drop them off? Your ex is still helping you with this? Ella raised an eyebrow. He's the best hardware engineer I know, I defended, and he's actually excited about the project. Speaking of excitement, Valerie interrupted, we need to discuss your strategy. This technology could be worth millions, but timing is everything. I smiled. Actually, I have an idea about that. Reagan mentioned their innovation division is expanding. Kim, Valerie's voice turned serious. If you're thinking what I think you're thinking, be careful. Corporate revenge can backfire spectacularly. It's not just about revenge, I insisted. It's about recognition, value, everything Reagan said I'd never achieve. Ella pulled out her tablet. Well, if we're doing this, let's do it right. I've drafted a social media strategy that'll get the tech community buzzing without revealing too much. Perfect, I said, because I got an interesting message yesterday. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered and put it on speaker. Ms. Evans? A male voice said. This is Charles from Wilcox Technologies. I believe we have a mutual interest in neural interface technology. Ella and Valerie exchanged looks. I'm listening, I replied carefully. I understand you've made significant progress in this area. Would you be interested in discussing potential opportunities? Off the record, of course. I caught Valerie's warning look. What kind of opportunities? Let's just say certain people at Wilcox would be very interested in your work, particularly before our upcoming showcase. Your sister's promotion isn't as secure as she thinks. The pieces clicked into place. Charles must be Reagan's competition for the promotion. I'll think about it, I said neutrally. After hanging up, Ella whistled low. Well, that's a game changer. No, Valerie corrected. That's a trap. Charles isn't offering help. He's fishing for information. I sat back, processing. Maybe we can use that. If Wilcox is this interested, then your sister's company is the perfect target, Ella finished. But we need to be smart about this. My phone lit up with a text from Reagan. Hope you're job hunting. Wilcox's entry-level positions are filling up fast. I showed the others. Trust me, I'm done being smart. It's time to be strategic. Valerie sighed but nodded. All right, let's talk showcase plans. But remember, in tech, reputation is everything. Whatever you do, make sure it's something you can live with. I thought about Reagan's smirks, her condescending texts, years of subtle put-downs. Oh, I can live with what I'm planning. The question is, can she? The promotion party is next Friday, Ella announced, scrolling through her phone. Reagan's already posted 3 humble brags about it. I adjusted my neural interface patch while running diagnostics on my laptop. Perfect timing. The prototype will be ready by then. Are you sure about this? Thomas asked, soldering the final connections on the new sensor array. Crashing your sister's party is one thing, but demonstrating experimental tech, it's not experimental anymore, I corrected. Watch. I closed my eyes, focusing. The smart blinds in my apartment smoothly adjusted. The lights dimmed, and my coffee maker started brewing, all without a single movement or command. Impressive, a voice called from my doorway. Charles stood there, looking perfectly corporate in his designer suit. Sorry, your door was open. How did you find my address? I demanded, quickly closing my laptop. He held up his hands. Professional curiosity. I hope you don't mind, but after our call, I did some research. Your innovation could be exactly what Wilcox needs. Ella shot me a warning look, but I was already ahead of her. Funny, I heard Reagan saying Wilcox Neural Interface Division was making great progress. Charles laughed. Reagan says a lot of things. Between us, she's not exactly in touch with our R&D reality. He placed his business card on my desk. We should talk, privately. After he left, Thomas whistled. Well, that wasn't suspicious at all. Actually, it's perfect, I said, an idea forming. Ella, can you access Wilcox's internal newsletter? Already on it, she typed rapidly. Oh, this is interesting. There's a board meeting scheduled right before the promotion party. Agenda includes strategic acquisitions and innovation division restructuring. My phone buzzed. A text from Reagan. Mom says you're coming to my party. Don't worry, I'll put you on the list. Dress professionally. Potential employers will be there. Your sister really doesn't stop, does she? Thomas shook his head. Neither will I muttered, then louder. Ella, what else can you find about that board meeting? Stephen Wilcox is presenting. Something about revolutionary interface technology and market dominance. I smiled. They're desperate. Charles wouldn't have come here if they weren't. Kim? Thomas set down his soldering iron. What exactly are you planning? A demonstration. One that'll show everyone exactly what real innovation looks like. My phone rang. Valerie. Kim, we need to talk. I just heard from a contact at Wilcox. Stephen's looking for neural interface acquisitions. I know. Charles just paid me a visit. Listen carefully. Valerie's voice was urgent. Reagan's been undermining their current neural interface projects. She's been telling Stephen they're dead ends, pushing for different technologies. I sat up straighter. Why would she do that? Because she doesn't know about you. She's trying to redirect resources to her pet projects. If your technology works, it would prove her wrong on every level. I finished. Perfect. Kim, I have to go. Thomas and I need to finish these calibrations. After hanging up, I noticed Thomas and Ella exchanging looks. What? We're worried, Ella admitted. This is getting personal. It's always been personal, I replied, connecting the new sensors. Reagan made sure of that. Just then, we heard voices from the hallway. Through my open door, I caught Reagan's voice. I'm telling you, neural interfaces are a dead end. We should focus on voice recognition. But the market research suggests, another voice began. Trust me, Reagan interrupted. I know what I'm talking about. Nobody's close to cracking neural interfaces. It's science fiction. Their voices faded, but my resolve strengthened. Thomas, how long to integrate the new sensors? 2 hours, maybe 3. Do it. Ella, start dropping hints about a revolutionary interface demonstration on tech forums. Nothing specific, just enough to get people talking. What about Charles? Ella asked. I picked up his business card. I'll give him just enough information to make sure he and Stephen are paying attention at the party. This could backfire spectacularly, Thomas warned, or it could work exactly as planned. I pulled up the invitation to Reagan's party on my phone. Either way, it's time my sister learned what real innovation looks like. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Reagan. BTW, the dress code is business professional. No hoodies or jeans. Try to look like you belong. I showed the others. See, she never learns. No, Ella agreed, but she's about to. I'll start the social media buzz. By next Friday, everyone in tech will be wondering what's about to happen at Wilcox. I touched the neural interface patch on my temple. They won't have to wonder long. Reagan wants to talk about belonging? Let's show her exactly where innovation belongs. The sensor response is still lagging by zero point 0.3 seconds, Thomas muttered, adjusting the calibration on my neural interface. Not good enough for a live demo. We were in his garage-turned workshop, surrounded by circuit boards and testing equipment. 3 days until Reagan's party, and the pressure was mounting. What if we bypass the secondary processor? I suggested, leaning closer to the workbench. Then you risk. A knock interrupted us. Charles stood in the doorway, looking oddly casual in jeans and a polo shirt. Hope I'm not interrupting. How did you find this place? I demanded, quickly covering the prototype. I'm thorough. He stepped inside, eyes scanning the equipment. Interesting setup. Much more advanced than I expected. Thomas moved subtly between Charles and the workbench. We're actually in the middle of something. Of course, Charles smiled. I just wanted to share some information you might find interesting, Kim. Reagan's been sabotaging our neural interface division. Why are you telling me this? Because she's about to get exactly what she wants. The promotion, the budget control, everything. He pulled out his phone, showing me an email. She's convinced Stephen to redirect all neural interface funding to her projects. My hands clenched. When? The announcement's planned for the party, unless. He paused meaningfully. Someone could prove neural interfaces are viable. Immediately viable. Thomas crossed his arms. And you're helping Kim out of the goodness of your heart? Let's say I have a vested interest in seeing Reagan's plans fail. Charles handed me a USB drive. Here's internal documentation about our current neural interface projects. Might help you avoid some technical pitfalls. After he left, Thomas grabbed the USB. This has to be a trap. Or it's exactly what we need. I took the drive back. Think about it. He's giving us their technical limitations. We can prove our system surpasses everyone. My phone buzzed. Ella. Emergency. Reagan's doing interviews about innovation leadership. Check her LinkedIn. I pulled up the post. There she was, quoted in a tech magazine. True innovation comes from understanding market realities, not chasing sci-fi fantasies like neural interfaces. She's really going all in, Thomas observed, reading over my shoulder. Good. I connected the USB to my laptop. Let's see what Wilcox's market realities look like. The files revealed exactly what I'd hoped. Their neural interface attempts were primitive, focusing on brute force signal processing instead of my refined pattern recognition approach. My phone rang. Valerie. Kim, we need to talk. I just heard from my contact at Wilcox. Steven's planning to announce a complete shutdown of neural interface research. I know, Charles told me. Charles? Valerie's voice sharpened. Be careful. He's not just Reagan's rival. He's known for playing both sides. He gave us their technical documentation. Exactly my point. Why would he? Another call beeped in. Reagan. I should take this, I told Valerie. Kim. Reagan's voice was syrupy sweet. Just checking about the party. You're not planning to wear that awful blazer from dinner, are you? Don't worry about my clothes, Reagan. I'm just trying to help. You know, since you'll be networking, I heard Tech Vision's laying off more people. Your old colleagues might be there too. I caught Thomas's concerned look as my jaw clenched. Thanks for the heads up. By the way, congrats on your innovation leadership interview. Oh, you saw that? Just sharing my expertise. Someone needs to bring reality to these tech fantasies. Reality, I repeated. Interesting choice of words. After hanging up, I turned to Thomas. How fast can we implement these optimization techniques from Wilcox's files? Kim, how fast? He sighed. 2 days, maybe less, but using their documentation feels risky. No riskier than what Reagan's doing. I pulled up her interview again. She wants to talk about reality? Let's show everyone what's really possible. My phone buzzed. A message from Charles. Forgot to mention, Stephen's bringing the board of directors to the party. Thought you might want to prepare accordingly. See? I showed Thomas. This is perfect. Or perfectly orchestrated, he warned. What if Charles is setting you up? Then he's in for a surprise. I connected the neural interface, watching the diagnostic readings. Because unlike Wilcox's attempts, our system actually works. The interface hummed to life, and across the workshop, devices responded to my thoughts with perfect synchronization. No lag, no delay. Thomas's eyes widened. How did you? Sometimes anger is motivating, I smiled. Now, let's make sure this demonstration is absolutely perfect. Reagan wants to shut down neural interface research. She's about to learn what real innovation looks like. My phone lit up with another text from Reagan. BTW, I'm giving a speech about innovation leadership at the party. Try to pay attention. You might learn something. I showed Thomas. Oh, I'll be paying attention, and so will everyone else. Something's wrong. I stared at the neural interface readings on my laptop. 24 hours before Reagan's party, and the system was showing random signal spikes. These patterns weren't here yesterday. Let me see, Thomas leaned in, frowning at the screen. This looks like interference, but from what? Ella burst into my apartment, waving her phone. We've got a problem. Someone leaked details about a neural interface demonstration at tomorrow's party. Tech blogs are going crazy. What kind of details? I asked, still watching the erratic readings. Enough to make it sound like vaporware. The comments are brutal. She showed me her phone. They're calling it another neural interface fantasy. My phone buzzed. Charles. Heard about the leak. Unfortunate timing. Still planning your demonstration? This isn't a coincidence, Thomas said, reading over my shoulder. Check the signal interference again. I ran another diagnostic. The spikes were getting worse. Someone's trying to sabotage us. But who? Ella asked. Only we knew the technical details. And Charles, Thomas pointed out, who conveniently gave us that USB drive right before things started going wrong. My phone rang. Reagan. I put it on speaker. Kim, have you seen the tech blogs? They're saying someone's planning to crash my party with some ridiculous neural interface demo. Her voice dripped with amusement. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Why would I? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because you've been spotted meeting with Charles? He told me everything, by the way. So desperate to prove yourself that you'd work with my office rival? Pretty sad, sis. My hands clenched. Charles told you? Of course he did. We're on the same team now. He's backing my initiative to redirect funds from failed neural interface projects. Smart man. After hanging up, I turned to Thomas. Check the USB files again. There must be something we missed. He plugged in the drive and started scanning. Here, buried in the code, it's subtle, but there's a pattern-matching algorithm that could cause exactly these kinds of interference spikes. Can you fix it? Maybe, but it'll take time, hours at least. Ella paced the room. So Charles set you up. He's working with Reagan to make neural interfaces look bad, securing her promotion and his position. My phone buzzed again. Valerie. Just heard from my contact. Board meeting moved up to tomorrow morning. They're voting on Reagan's proposal to terminate all neural interface research. Perfect, I muttered. Just perfect. Kim, Thomas looked up from his laptop. Maybe we should postpone. If the system fails during demonstration? No. I connected the interface patch. Reagan wants to kill neural interface research? Fine, but she'll have to do it after watching it work perfectly. But the interference? Then we work all night, strip out their code, rebuild the signal processing from scratch. I'm not letting them win. Ella raised an eyebrow. Is this about the technology or about Reagan? Both. She's wrong about neural interfaces, and she's wrong about me. Tomorrow, everyone will see that. My phone lit up. Another text from Charles. Hope you're not too disappointed. Business is business. No hard feelings? Actually, I said, showing the others, this is good. They think they've won. They won't be expecting us to fix it. Thomas cracked his knuckles. I'll need coffee. Lots of coffee. I'll handle the press, Ella added. Keep the buzz going but manage expectations. Make them think we're scrambling. My phone buzzed one last time. Reagan. Since your little demo plans got exposed, you can still come to the party. I'll even let you watch from the front row when I announce the future of innovation at Wilcox. See? I can be nice. I showed Thomas and Ella. How long to rebuild the system? If we work straight through, maybe 14 hours. Then we have 10 hours to make it perfect. I pulled up our original code. Reagan wants to talk about the future of innovation? Let's make sure she remembers this party forever. Ella started typing on her phone. I'll tell Valerie to be ready. If we pull this off, we'll need her connections. When we pull this off, I corrected, watching the first clean signal patterns emerge on screen. Reagan thinks she's won, but she forgot something important. What's that? Thomas asked, already deep in code. I smiled, thinking of all the times Reagan had underestimated me, all the condescending texts and smirks. She forgot that sometimes the best innovation comes from having something to prove. The neural interface hummed to life, its signals already cleaner than before. Tomorrow, Reagan would learn exactly what her little sister could do. And this time, everyone would be watching. The Wilcox Technologies lobby buzzed with excitement. Executives in designer suits mingled with tech journalists, all waiting for Reagan's big moment. I adjusted my neural interface patch, now disguised as a fashionable skin accessory, and checked my phone's connection to Thomas's laptop. Testing, testing. His voice came through my earpiece. Signals clean, no interference. Perfect, I whispered. Where's Charles? By the bar, watching you. And Reagan's heading your way. Kim, Reagan's voice carried across the lobby. You actually dressed appropriately. She air-kissed my cheek, her eyes scanning my fitted black dress. Though that accessory is a bit unusual. I thought it matched the occasion. I smiled, touching the patch. Right. She glanced at her watch. The board meeting just ended. Want to know how it went? Let me guess. They loved your anti-neural interface pitch? Her smile faltered slightly. Actually, Reagan, Charles interrupted, appearing beside us. Stephen needs you for the announcement prep. He turned to me, smirking. Kim, surprised to see you here after everything. I wouldn't miss my sister's big moment. Reagan beamed. That's sweet, and don't worry about those nasty tech blog comments. Nobody really believed you had working neural interface technology anyway. As they walked away, Ella slipped through the crowd to join me. The journalists are in position. Valerie's here too with some venture capitalists. Any sign of Stephen? In his office with the board members. There. She stopped, staring at her phone. Oh, God. What? Charles just tweeted, big announcements coming from Wilcox. The future of innovation isn't what you think. Some dreams should stay science fiction. My earpiece crackled. Kim, Thomas's voice was urgent. They're trying to access our network. Someone's attempting to hack the demonstration remotely. Can you block them? Already done, but they'll keep trying. The lights dimmed, and Reagan took the stage. Welcome, everyone. Today marks a new chapter in innovation at Wilcox Technologies. They're starting, I whispered to Ella. Is everything ready? She nodded, phone at the ready. Live streams up. Tech blogs are watching. Reagan continued. For too long, our industry has chased impossible dreams. Neural interfaces, direct brain-computer connections. Fascinating science fiction, but not practical reality. Charles stood at the edge of the stage, watching me with a satisfied smile. That's why, Reagan announced, the board has approved my proposal to redirect all neural interface funding to practical innovations. Sometimes, leadership means knowing when to let go of fantasy. My earpiece crackled again. Kim, they're making another attempt. Different approach this time. Hold them off, I whispered. Just a few more minutes. Reagan was building to her crescendo. And so, as your new head of innovation strategy. Now, I told Thomas. The lights in the lobby dimmed, then brightened. The massive display screens behind Reagan flickered to life. Without moving a muscle, I began controlling every smart device in the room. What's happening? Reagan's voice wavered. The presentation behind her changed, showing real-time neural signal data. Cameras focused on me as I stood perfectly still, orchestrating a symphony of technology with nothing but thought. Is this what you call fantasy, Reagan? I stepped forward. Or is it that you just couldn't make it work? Charles rushed to the stage controls, but nothing responded to his commands. Every system answered only to my neural interface. Impossible, he muttered. Actually, I projected my voice across the now silent lobby. It's very possible. What you're seeing is direct neural interface technology. No movements, no voice commands, just pure thought-to-action conversion. Stephen Wilcox emerged from the crowd. Is this real? Completely. I turned to face Reagan. While you were busy dismissing neural interfaces as science fiction, I was making them reality. She's lying, Reagan sputtered. This is some kind of trick. Charles, tell them. About what? I interrupted. About how you both tried to sabotage my demonstration? How you planted malicious code in those files? The crowd murmured. Journalists frantically typed on their phones. I can explain, Charles started, but Stephen cut him off. Explain what? How you and Reagan conspired to kill our neural interface research while a viable solution existed? Reagan's face had gone pale. We weren't. The board meeting this morning? Stephen continued. We were discussing acquiring promising neural interface technology that apparently belongs to your sister. My phone buzzed. A message from Valerie. VCs are fighting over who gets to talk to you first. Well played. Reagan stepped toward me, her voice low. You planned this, all of it. No, Reagan, you did this. Every condescending text, every smirk, every attempt to push me down. It all led here. I smiled. Sometimes karma works through neural interfaces. The crowd had begun to gather around me, journalists shouting questions, executives extending business cards. Through it all, I watched Reagan standing alone on stage, finally understanding what it felt like to be on the outside looking in. My earpiece crackled one last time. Clean signals, Thomas reported. We did it. Yes, I thought, controlling one final light show across the lobby. We certainly did. Ms. Evans, could you demonstrate that file transfer again? Stephen leaned forward in his chair, watching as I controlled his office systems with just my thoughts. 2 hours had passed since the lobby demonstration, and we'd moved to the executive floor. Reagan sat silently in the corner, her promotion speech notes crumpled in her lap. Of course, I smiled, initiating another seamless data transfer between devices. The neural pattern recognition allows for intuitive control of any connected system. Remarkable. He turned to Reagan. And you were aware of your sister's capabilities? I... Reagan straightened her blazer. I didn't think it was actually viable. Viable enough to make your neural interface dismissal look rather short-sighted, Charles muttered from his seat by the door. You're hardly innocent here, Stephen shot back. Attempting to sabotage a demonstration? Both of you could have cost this company a revolutionary technology. My phone buzzed. Ella, tech blogs are exploding. Neural interface is trending. You're being called the future of human-computer interaction. Kim, Stephen's voice pulled my attention back. I'd like to make you an offer. Full acquisition of your technology, plus leadership of our new neural interface division. Reagan's head snapped up. But that's not your concern anymore, Stephen finished. Your new position will be in market research. Both you and Charles need to reassess your understanding of innovation. Charles stood up. This is ridiculous. She crashed a corporate event with working technology that you tried to sabotage, Stephen countered. Would you prefer we discuss that with legal? My phone buzzed again. Valerie, don't accept any offers yet. You have leverage. Use it. Actually, I said, I have a counter-proposal. Stephen raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. I keep majority control of my technology. Wilcox gets exclusive licensing rights and first implementation. I lead development, but as an independent partner, not an employee. That's not how we usually, I interrupted, gesturing at the neural interface patch. When was the last time you saw technology like this? Reagan stood up suddenly. This isn't fair. I've given years to this company. Years of what? I turned to face her. Shutting down actual innovation, mocking others' achievements, sending condescending texts about career transitions. I was trying to help you. No, you were enjoying watching me struggle. Every text, every smirk, every backhanded comment. You loved it. The room fell silent. Even Charles looked uncomfortable. Kim, Stephen broke the tension. Your counter-proposal. What else? Full development budget, my team, my rules, and Reagan stays completely away from the project. Reagan's face flushed. You can't. Actually, Stephen interjected. She can, and given your recent decisions, she should. He turned back to me. What's your timeline for full implementation? 3 months to market ready, faster than any of your current projects. My phone lit up. Thomas. Final diagnostics confirm no lasting damage from their sabotage attempt. We're clean. 2 months, I amended, feeling confident. Stephen extended his hand. Deal. We'll have legal draw up the paperwork. As we shook hands, Reagan stepped forward. Kim, please, we're sisters. Exactly, which is why you should have supported me instead of trying to destroy me. I never. Check your texts, Reagan. Every mocking emoji, every fake concern. You documented your own karma. Charles cleared his throat. If we're done here. Oh, we're not, Stephen said. You and Reagan have some explaining to do about those sabotage attempts. Legal will be very interested. My phone buzzed one final time. Ella, press conference in 10 minutes. Ready to announce your partnership? Actually, I stood up, adjusting my neural interface patch. I need to prepare for a press conference. Your board will want to see Wilcox presented as a forward-thinking technology leader, right? Stephen smiled. Of course. Reagan Charles, stay here. We have much to discuss about your futures with the company. As I walked out, Reagan called after me. Kim, wait, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean. I turned back one last time. Yes, you did, but that's okay. Without your constant attempts to push me down, I might never have pushed myself to achieve this. I smiled. So really, I should thank you. Your cruelty made me unstoppable. Leaving them behind, I headed for the press conference, my neural interface humming with possibility. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about succeeding so spectacularly they have to watch from the sidelines. My phone lit up with a final text from Reagan. Please don't do this to me. I smiled, thinking of all her supportive messages over the past months. Sometimes karma doesn't need help. It just needs the right neural interface to deliver its message. Neural interface technology isn't just about control. It's about connection. I explained to the packed auditorium at the Tech Innovation Summit. The ability to bridge thought and action seamlessly. In the front row, Valerie beamed while Ella recorded everything for social media. Thomas monitored the systems from backstage, ensuring every demonstration went perfectly. And now, I continued, I'd like to show you something new. The audience leaned forward as I activated the neural interface. On the massive screen behind me, complex data patterns flowed and merged, responding to my thoughts in real time. Last week, someone asked me if success felt like revenge, I said, controlling multiple systems simultaneously. It doesn't. Success feels like vindication. Movement at the back of the auditorium caught my eye. Reagan slipped in, looking different than I remembered. Humbler, somehow? She'd traded her designer suits for business casual after her transfer to market research. The truth is, I continued, innovation doesn't come from tearing others down. It comes from refusing to stay down when others try to tear you apart. The demonstration concluded to thunderous applause. As the audience filed out, Reagan approached the stage. That was incredible, she said quietly. Really incredible. Thanks. I disconnected the neural interface. Didn't expect to see you here. I almost didn't come. She fidgeted with her lanyard. But I've been doing a lot of thinking about everything. Reagan, please, let me finish. She took a deep breath. I was awful to you, not just at the end, but for years. I was so focused on proving I was better that I never saw how much better you actually were. Thomas appeared at my side, protective as always. Everything okay here? It's fine, I assured him. Actually, could you give us a minute? After he left, Reagan continued. Charles got fired last week. Turns out he was shopping company secrets to competitors for years. I was so stupid to trust him. You were stupid to need someone to take down, I corrected. I was never your enemy, Reagan. I was just your sister. I know that now. She pulled out her phone, showing me her text history. I've been reading our old conversations. God, I was horrible. Those smirking emojis, the fake concern. I actually felt proud of being so mean. What changed? Everything? She laughed humorlessly. My career, my reputation, my understanding of what actually matters. Mom won't even talk to me since she found out what I did to you. My phone buzzed. Ella. VC's waiting in the green room. Plus, Stephen wants to discuss expansion plans. I have to go, I told Reagan. Meetings. Wait. She grabbed my arm. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I was hoping maybe we could get coffee sometime. Start over? I studied her face, the genuine remorse, the absence of her usual superiority. Coffee might be possible, eventually. Really? On one condition. I held up my phone. No more texts with hidden daggers, no more fake support, just real conversations. Deal. She smiled tentatively. Though I noticed you're still wearing the neural interface. Planning another demonstration? Always. I touched the patch. But not to prove anything anymore, just to push what's possible. Valerie approached, tablet in hand. Kim, sorry to interrupt, but the investment team is waiting. Go, Reagan said. You've earned this, all of it. As I turned to leave, she called after me. Hey, Kim, remember when we were kids and you said you'd change the world someday? Yeah? You did it, and I'm sorry I ever doubted you. Walking toward the green room, I felt lighter somehow. Ella fell into step beside me, scrolling through her phone. The neural interface reviews are insane, she reported. You're officially a tech industry legend. Good, I smiled, because I have some new ideas I want to explore. Already? You never stop, do you? Nope. I glanced back at Reagan, who was quietly leaving the auditorium. But maybe now I can innovate without needing to prove anything to anyone. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Reagan. Proud of you, sis. For real this time. No emojis needed. I showed Ella. Think people can change? I think karma teaches the best lessons, she replied, ready to show those VCs what's next. I adjusted my neural interface, feeling the familiar hum of possibility. Actually, I'm ready to show everyone what's next. No revenge needed, just pure innovation. The interface responded to my thoughts, bringing up the designs for my next project. Sometimes the best success isn't about getting even or proving worth. Sometimes it's about rising so high that old hurts can't reach you anymore. And sometimes, if you're lucky, it's about giving others the chance to rise with you.